Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for coming. Today we are going to be looking at a TikTok trend. Tell me a story about something you can't explain. So we might get some paranormal experiences in here, some ghosts. Let's just dive right into it and see what we can find.
Okay, tell me a story about something that you cannot explain. I'll go first. So a friend of mine, let's call her Jenna, she lived in this old Gothic house. And I don't know, it was just super creepy, and I just hated being there. This happened in like 2007 when 4 of us went to Jenna's house after school, and her parents weren't home. And I remember we left all of our coats and bags on the dining table, and then we went upstairs to watch TV. And we're just sat in her bedroom when we hear a massive crash from downstairs. And I remember we just went like, still. And like absolutely terrified, we all snuck down the stairs to investigate, and there was nothing, no broken glass, the doors were still locked. But then one of the other girls says, where's our stuff? All of our stuff was gone, dining table empty. And that is when Jenna screamed. And she's pointing out into the backyard. All of our stuff was scattered across the yard, each item perfectly placed individually. And I thought, okay, it must be a prank. But then I realized there were no footprints in the snow, and I still can't explain that.
Oh my gosh, that's so scary. What?
Okay, tell me a story about something that you cannot explain. I'll go.
Okay, I'm gonna tell this fast, but the kid I was nannying was downstairs in the basement. I said, hey bud, do you want any water while you're watching your show? He was like, yeah, totally, my water bottle is the blue one. So I go upstairs to their kitchen. I see a blue water bottle with blue dinosaurs on it. I fill it up to a certain point because I'm like, this will get him through till lunch. I bring it right back down to him while I'm on the phone with my friend. I'm like, da 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 da. I bring it down, here you go, and I say, I love the dinosaurs. Hand it to him. I go back upstairs to the kitchen to get my coffee. I stop in my tracks because all I see on the kitchen counter is the exact same water bottle filled to the exact same place that I've just brought down to him, and it's sitting on the kitchen counter. And I was like, what the heck? I go running back down and I say, hey dude, like, where's the water bottle? And he's like, you gave it to me? And it's a completely different blue water bottle that I've never seen in my entire life. And I was like, what?
Maybe you grabbed the wrong one. I don't know.
Okay, tell me a story about something that you cannot explain.
When my middle daughter was 4, me and my ex were arguing. We were in the process of breaking up because I was going through a spiritual awakening that he couldn't accept, and he couldn't even accept that we were falling apart. So we're in the middle of this argument, and my 4-year-old daughter walks in the middle of us, and she looks up at him and she says, hey Adam, it's me, Paw. Now, my daughter, she calls one grandpa, she calls the other grandpa, Bapu. She has never called anybody Papa. Anyway, Adam's grandpa when he was 7, and he mentioned it to me one time and never mentioned it again. My daughter was at her dad. She wasn't even anywhere near, so she had never heard this before. But she looks up at him. He drops. We're like, what did you say? And she repeats it. It's me, Papa. And then he drops down in front of her, and she takes his face in her hands, and she says, you're growing up so big and tall. Everything's gonna be okay. We were crying.
Yeah, that's super crazy. What is up with that?
Let me preface this by saying our house is new and it's a manufactured home, so no one lived in it before and no one lived on the plot that we live on. So last year we started hearing this weird knocking, and we thought it might have been the pipes or something, but it kept happening, and I noticed it was a pattern of 3 each time. So I looked it up, looking for a logical explanation. Like, I wasn't looking for paranormal, but of course a paranormal thing came up and they called it the death knock.
Okay.
Coincidentally, a friend was in town who doesn't really live around here, but she's very spiritual and has sage, so she let me borrow her sage so I could sage our house. I lit it and I heard this huge crash at one end of the house, and I did my thing and saged the house, but I forgot to do one area of the house, so I relit it and heard another loud crash at the other end of the house. And then I saged again, and I hadn't heard any knocking
Okay,
since.
it's actually scary. Seems like you solved it, though. Good job, Brianna.
Okay, tell me a story about something that you cannot explain.
Yeah, so in the spring of 2017, my classmates and I, 3 of my classmates and I, we took a trip to Paris. Trip went fine. On the last day of the trip, we, all 4 of us, piled into a car and headed to the airport. Now, somewhere in the airport, and I don't remember this completely, I just know at some point I wasn't near them. I think maybe I went off to find food or something. But at some point they were like texting me, Katie, where are you? we're boarding. And at the 12th hour, I made it. I made it to the terminal.
Good.
In fact, I remember thinking that the ceiling was so cool that I took this photo. This is a photo from me sitting on the floor waiting for my section of the plane to board. And all the girls were there. I remember walking on that aircraft past two of my friends and sitting like 3 rows behind them next to my other friend, classmate, whatever. Flight went fine.
Okay.
And then the 4 of us took a taxi back to the apartments we were staying in while we were in school. And even more so, I distinctly remember in the WhatsApp, the girls talking about, let's go home and change and go to the beach. They wanted to go to the beach after the flight. I delete messages, I don't still have it, but that happened. 2 days later in class, I walk in and the 2 girls who were seated 3 rows in front of me, they're talking about how they missed the flight back from Paris. They're talking about how they missed the flight, and they had to take a second flight and they came back by themselves. And my other friend is sitting there conferring with them. And I'm like, they were 3 rows in front of us. You guys went to the beach. I did not go because I needed to sleep, but I was in the taxi on the ride back into the city. And to this day, I have no idea why they remember those 2 missing the flight. And I remember all 4 of us being on that flight. And then even have memories of what we did after the flight, like being in the taxi together and going to the beach, or them going to the beach and talking about it in the group chat. There's still like a discrepancy. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
That's super weird. Like, what do you think that is? I am skeptic, so I always think like she's maybe misremembering, maybe it was someone who looked like them who was sitting there, but otherwise it's just like, were they lying about missing the flight, or is this a glitch? Is this a glitch? I don't know, you guys.
Yeah. There's still like a discrepancy. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Okay, tell me a story about something that you cannot explain.
So when I was 12 years old, I went over to my friend Hannah's house after school. And during that time, her parents decided to leave us home alone for a little bit so they could go grocery shopping. And we decided that would be a perfect time to go outside and play lacrosse for a little bit. While we were playing lacrosse, I guess I threw the ball a little too hard and she didn't catch it and it landed in the woods. So we needed to go back into the garage and go get another ball.
Okay.
And her garage doors were closed. So we needed to go inside, past the foyer, and into the garage through another door. We left the foyer door open because we were only going to be a few seconds. But during those few seconds, a man walked into the house and started calling for us. And not specifically our names, he just called us girls, where are you? And we just froze. We were like, what do we do? So like I said, the garage doors were closed, so you had to go through the foyer and into another door to get to the garage. So this man couldn't see us, and we couldn't see him. So we decided to hide behind something in the garage. We could hear him walking around and saying that he knew we were home, and he kept referring to himself as Grandpappy and that he was going to take us home. And he started to get frustrated because he couldn't find us. So he walked back outside and started banging on the closed garage doors. Once we knew he was outside, we jumped out of our hiding spot. We slammed the door he came in through shut. We locked it, we grabbed a phone, and we ran upstairs to her parents' room and called the cops. So keep in mind, while we are running upstairs, we can see him through the window. Now we can't see his face, but we can see that he's wearing a baseball cap. And we can tell from his voice earlier that he is an older man. So the cops finally get there with canine units, and we have to tell our story multiple times while the canine unit searched for him. But that man is gone. There are no footprints, and his scent is only around the house. Nowhere else, nowhere in the neighborhood and nowhere past the house. So the police decided to ask around the neighborhood to see if anyone saw a man that fit our description, an older man in a baseball cap. All the kids that were outside during this time had seen a man that fit our description. All the adults they asked, however, did not see a man that fit our description. It has been 13 years, and I have not heard a single thing about that incident since that day. Maybe he was just a confused old man that got us mixed up with 2 other girls and he had no nefarious intent. But that doesn't explain where he went or why only kids saw him.
Wow. Urban Dictionary. That is so scary. I think they're giving him way too much credit by saying, oh, he was just a confused old man. No, it sounds like he was a creep trying to do something bad and you guys got away. Thank goodness you guys got away. And I don't think he was a ghost. I think that was just police incompetence and parent incompetence to not be paying attention and able to find him, you know? Oh my gosh. You guys did good by getting away from that and knowing when to lock the door, and I'm sure you learn now to never leave a door unlocked behind you. But Jesus, that is super scary. And honestly, men are scarier than ghosts. Okay, I'm just kidding, not really though. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna end it here because that was scary enough and my camera is overheating. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.